The ATL, birthplace of the dirty bird. Birthplace of another bird called Chick-fil-A. Atlanta has been the home of many big things, including Lay's big bag of potato chips, the Super Soaker water gun, and the laser disc. Yes, any disc of any size or format are obsolete in today's age. But what you may not know, however, is that all of the digital plastic discs evolved from the laser disc. While not a disc that could be scratched or remixed, the Laserdisc nevertheless offered users an experience that was unmatched at the time. It was the 70s and Betamax had just rolled out. Similar to the Blu-ray HD DVD battles that occurred in the mid-2000s, Betamax was going toe-to-toe with VHS. Both VHS and Betamax were both analog video cassettes. Betamax was created by Sony and released to the public in 1975. They dominated the market at the time as they were the only ones that could do home recording. The following year, the Victor Company of Japan, or JVC, released the VHS tape. VHS quickly took off as they allowed for longer record times of 2 hours compared to Betamax's 1 hour. With the two of these video formats, the television industry viewed videocassettes and videocassette recorders as having the power to disrupt their business, while television users viewed the VCR as a means to take control of their viewing experiences by allowing them to watch programming repeatedly and at more convenient times. Lurking behind all this video drama was a plastic reflective disc the size of a traditional vinyl record. Originally called DiscoVision, but then later adopted as a Laserdisc, this media medium was first made available on the market in Atlanta, Georgia in December of 1978. The first title available was the 1975 box office thriller Jaws, a grand entrance to home video through the popular Steven Spielberg film. The Laserdisc and its players, however, got off to a slow start. Expensive equipment was a big contributor. The discs themselves were also not cheap. In an article of Billboard magazine dated July 26, 1980, it was stated that the Magnavox Laserdisc player retailed for $695 in December of 1978, but by June of 1979, the following year, the price increased to $775. We were unable to find a price for Jaws when it was released, but the prices ranged from $30 to $100 for titled discs. Yes, these prices sound crazy to us also for just movie watching, and we get it. New technology is always more expensive when it's released, but those prices are high for even today's standard. Let's just quickly run some numbers, accounting for inflation, and we'll see that a player for $775 would cost $3,161 today. And the title discs that were anywhere from $30 to $100 in those times, today that would be $122 to $407. That was serious money for entertainment back then, and of course even so today. Another strike against the Laserdisc was the amount of data that could be stored on a disc. This was due to manufacturers not wanting to adjust the video bandwidth in their players, as this would reduce the quality of the picture. This could mean that during a film, one may have to disrupt the setting by having to eject and turn the disc over to continue playback. Not necessarily a huge deal, as some VHS titles were multiple tapes, but it was more cumbersome when it was a multi-disc title, as this would happen more often. Add to all of this the size of the discs required more power from the players to spin these record-sized discs, which would then create a noticeable hum in the background. Along with the price, the other major contributor to the lack of success of the technology was the simple fact that users could not record with the system. That was a major feature with Betamax and VHS that consumers gravitated towards. The ability to create your own videos and record television programming when wanted really gave the upper hand to cassette-based tech at the time. Okay, so maybe you're wondering why the Laserdisc existed in the first place with all of its flaws. The best way it's explained is that it was in the market because there was a market for it. For example, all automobiles do the same thing, which is turn on, drive, and then park. However, some automobiles do it better than others. Some automobiles look better than others, sound better, etc. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. This is similar with technology. The Laserdisc did essentially the same as VHS and Betamax in terms of playing back video, but it did so with quality unparalleled at the time for home video. The image quality for a Laserdisc was far sharper than cassette-based media, and serious cinephiles enjoyed that experience. The same is said about the audio quality of the Laserdisc. Sound could be stored in either analog or digital format and in a variety of surround sound formats. They were one of the first adopters of Dolby Digital. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace back in '99, which was released on Laserdisc in Japan, is among the first home video releases ever to include 6.1 channel Dolby Digital surround sound. Of course, another attribute of the technology was the exclusivity, knowing that you were one of the few that had a Laserdisc player. Like the automobile example before, Bentleys and Ferraris have the core driving features as other vehicles, but the craftsmanship that go into these vehicles really speak on the premium being charged for them. And it was similar with the Laserdisc, as technology-wise, it had features that no other machines had, and if you had owned one, it was in a sense a way to display financial success, or at least pretend. Some inventions form the backbone for future creations, and this is what the Laserdisc did. It developed the CD and DVD, which were very common at the time, and which eventually took its place as the size alone of the Laserdisc was no longer attractive to consumers that were becoming used to CDs and DVDs. January 14, 2009 marked the last time Laserdisc players were made, as Pioneer decided to end their storied run. The last US title available on Laserdisc was Bringing Out the Dead back in October 22nd, 1999, as film industry stuck to using VHS and the popular DVD format. In closing, the Laserdisc brought the world a product that humanity has been served well by. But as life progresses, so do the tools, and so the DiscoVision/Laserdisc is now known as Technono. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to be notified of nostalgia within the tech industry.